Hi guys, Thogrey here with a new video, and this video will be a World of Warcraft video. If you want to see Diablo 4 PvP and how it will be in-game and how it is, and you're like waiting on actually knowing if PvP is good or not before you buy Diablo 4, which is a possibility, you can check the next video after this. It will be today too, but this one will be posted before. But World of Warcraft, we have a new patch. I'm gonna just close over really quickly. I'm actually going to talk about my concerns. You have buffs and nerfs across the board. If you want to check that out, I will of course post it in the description. But the conversation is not really what I want to have. Like, the buffs and nerfs are cool, I guess, for a lot of specs, and even for my specs. Like for example, Arms Warrior. I do play it whenever I'm playing World of Warcraft, and it's cool to have those changes, right? Same for Affliction, Warlock, and such, and the nerfs to subtlety, enhancement, Shaman. It's really concerning how they communicate so little about PvP. This is not communication. This is just like a justification on the nerfs or buffs they give, but it's really with as little context as possible. Like, again, just this example about balance druid would like to reduce the effectiveness of the playstyle since it's difficult for opponents to stop. All good. Go to his fang also become much more effective in Embers in Ethereum, and includes some randomness, ability to score kills unexpectedly, blah blah blah. Finally, All King Adept has been locked in talent for a while and has been prepping up their control a bit more that we're comfortable with. So those are like justification, but there's no real example. So what is the goal of that nerf? Well, what do they want to achieve? Well, what is the end goal of Balance Druid? Do they want it to be very strong? Do they want to be a bit more consistent, a bit more bursty? Do they want to be like in a good state, in a bad state? Like, they need to contextualize a lot of things to like make people understand why their class or their classes are nerfed or buffed. It's obvious that having just marksmanship hunter have been underperforming in different forms of PvP content. That's all they give. They do not say what their end goal is with those buffs. What do they want to achieve? Do they want to achieve like a TTK, so time to kill, superior, inferior? Do they want to be able to have a class kill another class without CDs in 10 seconds, in 8 seconds, 7 seconds? Like, all those information are actually very important, because now you're just going to buff and also nerf classes and specs based around numbers, but it's not like graspable. Like, you cannot really grasp the reality as a viewer, as a player, as just a enjoyer of the game. This you can just assume, look, aim shot is going to do 10% more damage. That's it. But what is the goal of that buff? Is the goal to be more lethal? Because it will be more lethal, but at one point, like, do they make testing? Do they say, look, if I'm spamming aim shot, it will kill someone in 15 seconds, or does it kill it in 10 seconds or in 12 seconds? Like, those things are very important to actually have a grasp on the reality, but also self-criticize themselves. Like, if they buff something and their goal is X and the result is Y, then should be a different outcome the next patch, right? They cannot really just make a change, buff or nerf, without really contextualize and give a end goal. I'm going to give you examples on like actual games that do that, and it's really not difficult. And I'm going to talk about it. All those things is just not enough. But I guess some people will be very happy about the nerfs, very happy about the buffs. Me, myself, I am happy about the nerfs and buffs, although I play Enhancement Shaman. It's not fun to have a nerf, but it is what it is. If it's making the game more balanced, although I think the game will never be balanced, then it's okay, I guess. But it's not enough. This is not going to bring back games. This is not going to bring back players as a whole on PvP and in the game. This is just a patch to say, look, we changed something. I could come back, play, and feel it is different. It is different. Balance is the problem, right? It is because of the balance that you left the game, right? Which I say no, that's not the problem. That's not making people leave the game, because we played huge expansions that has being a very nasty balancing as a whole. Wrath of the Lich King, the first season was a mess with decays. Cataclysm was a mess with a lot of specs, which I can say probably rogue. It was a very big mess. Mist of Pandaria, everything was busted at the end, but it didn't start like that. Do you remember the BM hunters and the MM hunters? Do you remember the warriors that actually were unkillable and actually killed many people, like in like a global? Those were like the one-shot macros days from Swifty. You have Walls of Draenor where, again, they changed multiple things, which made some classes just so much stronger and other classes a bit less. I can go on and on with Legion, BFA, Shadowlands, and now with Dragonflight. Balance is not the thing that makes people leave. What makes people leave is actually systems, staleness, these stupid changes, I would say, around things that actually work. I'm going to talk about CR, MMR. I think they really do not have to mess with that. It's just, how can I say, every single game does it right, but somehow World of Warcraft doesn't make it right. It's not difficult. You win, you gain CR. You lose CR. You win, you gain MMR. You lose MMR. It doesn't matter in which game you play. It doesn't matter in which MMR threshold you are. Yes, if your MMR is very high and your CR is very low, first and foremost, the system is not doing his job. If your MMR is so high that you do not lose CR because you lost, basically, it just means that you didn't climb fast enough to actually get to your MMR. That's the system that actually pushes you to that MMR. If your MMR is lower than your CR, it does mean that it doesn't really punish well enough the fact that you lose, which means that you will feel sometimes entitled to MMR that you would, or a CR that you would win if you won just a normal game, but you do not win CR because your MMR is so low. So it makes people not understand the situation, makes people, again, feel like there is no transparency between the company and the players. I think they just messed too much with the CR and MMR. I think you can see multiple games actually do it right. Like, for example, League of Legends, I'm going to give it as an example because it's Riot is a big company like Blizzard, so they can both do that. And I think it just is about passion and work ethic and communication. And I think Blizzard is just failing on that part, and Riot is actually doing well on that part. You can say everything about League of Legends, how imbalanced it can be, how unjust it can be to lose a game that you should not really lose and you're not really deserving to lose. But their communication and their transparency on changes is just miles ahead of Blizzard. And I can say that about Diablo 4 as well, but I mean, again, we're going to talk about like an hour about Blizzard and how they're actually failing on those things. So why are people leaving the game, at least in PvP? I don't know how it is in Mythic Plus and raids. If you want to clarify it, please clarify it. But I think PvP has been stale for a long while, and it doesn't mean that it's balancing. I think it's purely the systems, the CR, how they managed to make it worse than Season 1 for some reason. The healer problematic, where you do not have enough healers, is a problem, but it wouldn't be a less of a problem if you actually changed systems around and made it better for everyone. It has nothing to do with balance. And yes, some people will say, look, my DK is in a poor state, like we are D tier, C tier, we're so bad, like that's why we leave. But that's a minority, because I played Enhancement Shaman whenever it was in the gutter, and it never made me leave the game. What makes me leave the game, though, is having 40-minute queues, having an LFG system that is as old as Legion or even Walls or Draenor. I would even say even longer, but I'm going to say those two expansions. that what makes me leave the game is the lack of communication from their part, because if they're not communicating, it means that they are actually like agreeing that it is a good state, that the state that we have right now with PvP and with World of Warcraft is good enough, because that's what the lack of communication is. It is an approval of the situation. If you're going to communicate, you can via Twitter, via interviews, via multiple ways. You can even make a video and make it on your YouTube channel. I don't care. You can like address one day the PvP, then Mythic Plus, then raiding, then the leveling, and you try to do it like bi-weekly or even monthly. It's really not that hard, like a dev blog post like Riot does. Again, I am a Blizzard fanboy, man. I love Blizzard from the past. Right now, I'm feeling like, look, do I waste my time covering that game? That's how I feel, because I feel like there's no consideration to the players, especially in PvP side. And I would say I'm a content creator, but I'm part-time. Before I am a content creator, I am a player. And when the player is not okay with the state of the game, then the content creator is for sure not okay with the state of the game, because I feel like I'm actually putting out marketing stuff for Blizzard. And that's everyone that does that. Everyone that actually posts on Reddit, everyone that is posting on WoW forums, everyone that is posting on YouTube, on Twitch, you are doing marketing for Blizzard. It's not free. You think it's free, but it's not free. And if you're not satisfied with the product, you need to voice it somehow, some way. Again, you don't need to be a crybaby and say, oh, it's so bad, I do not like the state of the game right now. You have to construct it with criticism and solutions. I gave my solutions in multiple videos, but it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to listen to me. But I'm trying to give criticism, give examples of that in other games where it's possible to do that. I'm not asking the moon, and then provide solutions to how they can switch onto that form. I'm going to show you guys a tweet from a Riot employee. It's not only like one tweet, it is multiple tweets. They do bi-weekly patch notes, right? And they are voicing the patch notes 2 weeks in advance, like one and a half week in advance. For example, this is the preview of a nerfs, buffs, patch notes, and system changes or whatever. This, you can clearly see their intent. They're going to say, look, we're going to buff Ashe. We don't know how or what, but we are going to buff Ashe. They know that. They do not, but we, the viewer, we do not know that once we read this. And then we have like Wowhead, there is people that can data mine things. It is the same. You have Ashe, Gangplank, Kai'Sa, all those champions are buffed, and then you have champion nerfs, champion adjustments, and then the items, system changes, whatever. That is not really applicable to WoW, but you could do that as well. They are transparent with that. It's every single patch. There is always communication. There is also polls. They're actually posting every single day to remind you that we exist. Why can't World of Warcraft actually do that? Are you going to say that it is because of toxicity? That people are not going to tweet about the company, about their plans, about the projects that they have? Is this acceptable that we do not know if in 1 week or 2 weeks there is a patch? Is it acceptable to not have a planning around patch notes? They could easily say, look, every 2 weeks we're going to make a patch where we're going to balance the game. And that's every 2 weeks. And maybe every month there is a bigger patch. It's not hard. You cannot say that Blizzard is too big for this, because Riot is way bigger than Blizzard right now. Maybe not in stocks, but at least in player base and how players actually interact with the game. And they're even building like other games. And you should be scared, guys. You should be scared. I'm talking to you, Blizzard. You should be scared, because Riot, again, I'm not really there for the hype. I'm not really hyped for the MMO from Riot, because I want to see what it is. But you should be scared about Riot, and you should be scared about the MMO of Riot. Because trust me, if they have just 50% of this communication for the MMO, everyone is going to jump ship because people love to be communicated with. People do want to know what's happening with the game. People love information. That's why it works on YouTube. That's why a patch note review from Veruki, from Subtlety, from even me, or even tier lists and such, those things work because people love information. They love to know what's happening. They want to know what's next. But we're not provided with that. We are like in a famine state where every patch that we get, we're scrambling for crumbles and try to eat what we get. And instead of just like saying, look, this is just another piece of shit, right? And that's the issue. The balancing is not enough. You need to communicate about the state of PvP. Just saying, look, guys, we know people are leaving PvP game mode. And they're not going to say that. They're going to say that it's getting worse, right? That the state is not okay. We're looking into certain possibilities. What are your thoughts about this? What are the thoughts about that? A poll, I don't know, anything, right? Like even he's making poll, although it's like half jokingly, but Helios Font of Life, this is an item interaction with a rune interaction with Ash support, which is the ADC. And what are your thoughts about? Is it overrated, balanced, OP, or I don't know, because Ash is dead? Like that's a joke. Again, they put a joke inside, so it also is good for the engagement of that tweet. People are going to click on that because they are going to say, haha, yeah, true, my Ash is dead in like 1 second. I'm going to like press that. It's really not that hard. I'm going to show you other examples. This one. This is a normal patch note for League of Legends. It's not special. It's not really special. It is just a bi-weekly patch note. And sometimes it is bigger, sometimes it is like smaller, sometimes it is like game changing. But this is a patch highlights. Why can't they do like a graphic like this? This is not hard. I can do that as well on Canva. I can do that as well with Photoshop. It's really not that hard. This is marketing. This is just, look, if you want to show an image to someone, to a friend, and you want to show what's happening with the game, you can just copy this and link it. It's not hard. It's made for people to click on it, to say, oh, look, I'm interested. I'm always nerfed. I have to see it. Oh, Akane is buffed. What? I have to scroll to know what's happening. Right now, our information comes from the WoW forums, but mostly about WoWhead and MMO Champion. And you're scrolling, and there's the only text that you get, and it's like a generic one. And then you have like sometimes a development node, which basically says, will increase, will decrease, that's it. Or it's overperforming, we're going to do that. Like, and sometimes you don't even have notes. It's pitiful. I'm actually, like, the more I'm thinking about, the more I'm like a bit disgusted about like the approach that they're actually doing communication wise. Like it's really mind-blowing. It's very hard to actually justify Blizzard on that front, right? It's difficult. It is difficult. It is difficult. Difficult to justify the game time I'm actually having. Just very hard to actually like catch up with what's happening with Blizzard, because again, they always take one game at a time. I feel like whenever Diablo 4 is out, there is no information about World of Warcraft. Whenever retail is out, there's no information about Classic. And whenever Classic is out, there's no information about retail. Like it's so weird. Like they cannot split themselves in multiple teams, or it seems like they're not splitting themselves in multiple teams, or the teams are so small and they are not thinking about the broader picture that they just forget about every single aspect that makes other games just better right now. And I know that maybe you are not interested in League of Legends. That's fine. Again, I'm not saying that League of Legends is like a better game for you instead of World of Warcraft, but you just see what is around League of Legends and how they're actually proceeding, and they are very big. They're bigger than World of Warcraft, really. how they proceed. They proceed like they want to keep the players inside and do their best to keep those engagement numbers high. World of Warcraft, I feel like they're not even trying anymore. They're like saying, look, if PvP dies, PvP dies. If he dies, he dies. Rocky 4 style. Or I don't even know which one, but whatever. It's really sad, man. And there are comments. There are going to come comments like, "Oh, you're complaining about the game anymore." Blah 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 blah. I'm not complaining about the game right now. I'm complaining about the whole communication system around that game. And if the game is right now just not playable for me, because again, I'm refusing to keep myself in queue or in LFG to get maybe a game and then maybe win. If you lose, then you're back in the queue, and sometimes you get double prots Paladin, and yeah, you got in queue for just double tanks. That's unacceptable for me. But the most unacceptable part is I feel like their silence is an approval of the current state of the game. And what I want is communication. I want daily communication from the WoW PvP team. If you want to make it die right now, just keep it like that. If you want to revive the flame and try to keep and engage and have more players into the game, you have to communicate, because that's marketing 101. You cannot really just say, look, we just put the game on, we have a hot fix every 1.5 every 6 weeks, every 7 weeks you will get a bigger patch, and that's it. You should be happy about it. Look, we're paying a subscription, guys. We're paying, and again, like it's not like I never like I'll always pay the subscription, even whenever I didn't play the game. I always paid the subscription because I feel like, look, if it's going to make the game bigger, it's going to make the game bigger. But right now, I feel like there's just no communication, and I do not know how it is for PvE. Maybe there's also no communication for raids and Mythic Plus, and maybe it's alright, maybe it's not alright. But this is just like a slap on the wrist. Like this is not going to bring back players somehow, some way. Maybe some players are going to try the buffs and nerfs, but they're not going to stay because the inherent problem of the game is still staying. So it just is not enough to justify the current state. So please let me know what you think in the comment section below. I got some flourish language, I would say, some colorful language here and there, but I'm just not okay. I'm just not feeling like this is enough. Again, balance. I'm okay for balancing. I love balance patches because again, it is content for me. I love, look, oh, whirling dragon punch damage increased by 80%. Like those things can make a tier list change, but I don't care about a tier list if I cannot even play the game, right? That's the issue I have with the game. They can change so many things, but they decide, look, maybe it's only a balancing problem. It is not just a balancing problem. It's a system problem. It is the approach of PvP, that is the problem. And if they cannot communicate about their plans for PvP, then I feel like we're just playing and waiting for it maybe to die, or maybe to have a renaissance because of an expansion or a patch update. And they're always going to try to say, look, we're still thinking about 10.1.5, we might come back with a solution. That's not enough. We want to know your plans. We want to know what's in your head. We want to know what is next. It doesn't matter if you're going to fail on it. It doesn't matter if you're going to say, look, we tried to do that, it doesn't work, we tested it and it didn't pan out to be good. But at least you communicate about it. Right now, maybe you tried multiple things, it didn't work, but you're not going to say to us, and we're feeling like, look, you're doing nothing. But maybe you're working behind the shadows. You are working like every day to get better. That's possible, but you're not communicating, so we cannot know and we cannot smell it. And the players that really feel that, they just leave for other games. And you're going to be happy because a lot of people leave for Diablo 4, and this is the same company. But trust me, the honeymoon phase of Diablo 4, of other things like, for example, HC Classic and such, is going to die down at one point, and they're going to come back in retail PvP to again have a bad system, a bad situation, and then they're going to leave for another game. Like, you do realize a lot of like the WoW players, like me for example, we're just waiting for the next big MMO thing, right? We're playing World of Warcraft because we love, but if there is something even better than World of Warcraft, our love for World of Warcraft is not enough to keep us, right? That's not enough, and that's you that have to compensate and to flourish the relationship between the players and you, the company. But anyways, I don't know if Blizzard is going to ever going to listen to what I say, but hopefully people do realize what I'm saying, and it's not really maliciously, it's not bad what I'm saying just what is the case for multiple good companies that have communication very high in their standards, and that it is not only just a response to a WoW forum that is enough to actually keep everyone satisfied. You need to communicate proactively and not reactively. Anyways, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Be sure to stay safe. We will catch each other very soon in the next video. Have a good day. Bye.